Sync 366 video series. My hair is kind of going crazy today. Happy Monday. We are now fully into the last month of the year. December. Lots happening energetically for most people this time of the year. Lots of obligations, lots of rules, lots of rituals that are happening. So I'm just going to wait here 5 minutes and see who joins on. Today we are talking about, we're going to talk about really practical application of the natural laws and really just self-awareness. Because if you are one of those people who reads a lot of stuff, if you're not learning how to apply what it is that you're learning, then we're in trouble, right? Because then you have a bunch of information, knowledge that is not being utilized to its fullest extent. That's why social media can be a little bit overwhelming. Anyways, I'm going to wait and see who's joining me. Hello, South African boys. Good to see you. I'm so happy that you're resonating. Hey, Greg, good to see you too. Just going to wait about, the 5 minutes before we start talking about what we're going to talk about today. So, how are you all doing? We're fully in December. December is happening. Are you here? Are you ready for it? Oh, I got to go get the dog. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right, y'all. Hey, Eric. We're getting the locals today. Love it. Love it. Good to see you here, Eric. We're in December, y'all. This is the Being in Sync 366 video series. And there's less than 30 days left in the series. That means I have come on here every single day for this entire year, giving practical application of the natural laws. So much information. And I have gone back over the videos. Some of them I can't bear to watch because I never thought I would do what I'm doing. I have not found the optimal place in which to do these videos. You guys have been taken on a tour of my entire space here. Hi, Aunt Kush. Good to see you here. All right. So let's see, we have about 2 more minutes and then I'll start. But we're talking about today, I think is just absolutely critical to spiritual evolution. Hey, Richard in Michigan. Oh yeah, you guys got some snow, huh? I'm in California. We don't have snow. We get a lot of water. And we're getting, what do you call that? The weather modification they started in our area. So when it rains, it's not like normal rain. Anyways, they're trying to fill up our waterways, is what they say. Anyways, so today we're talking about this critical area of application, really taking practices and putting them into application. I even brought one of the things that I do every month that I'm going to share with you. But hey, Sunny, good to see you. Oh, now I'm a babe and a sweetheart. Sunny, please. I thought you were somebody else. Okay, y'all. No spamming the chat. If we have somebody that comes and helps with the mods on the chat, that would be great. If not, it's me. So just, we do our best to pay attention to the content and not the chats until after I finish. And then I go through and I ask if anybody has any questions about the topic. Today's topic is about practical application. Okay, so what do I mean about practical application? If you are one of those people who loves to learn and you read and you read and you read all the top selling books and you read all the articles and then you go on Instagram and you watch reels, or you go on YouTube and you watch more reels, all that information can become one big, huge distraction. Hey, Wendy, good to see you here. So, to grow into the natural laws. First of all, everybody asks me, Kiana, do you have any resources for the natural laws? And I say, yes, I do. However, everything is resonant. So I would say, do your best to find what resonates with you. You got to listen to that voice within. Because if I send you something that doesn't resonate with you, you will hold that against me. And believe it or not, people do that. So it's all really about listening to yourself and what's resonating, okay? So what books I think are BS, other people think are bestsellers. So you really have to use your own discernment. Now, this thing about reading books, that does not get you self-awareness. Reading and having knowledge and self-awareness, totally different. You have to be able to take what you're learning and put it into application. The lack of doing that is going to leave you in a state of confusion and bewilderment and probably overwhelmed. And if you have a propensity for anxiety, you will get anxious. Why? Because new information does not help you if it's not able to be integrated. And when I say integrated, the natural laws are all about physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment. You want to practice the natural laws. The natural laws they're not foreign to you. They're just foreign to you intuitively because we've been conditioned away from love, kindness, compassion, an open heart. How many people do you know have like a wounded heart and they are trying to protect themselves? That barrier is the problem, okay? So we want to practice. We want to do practical application in self-awareness. You want to take whatever information is resonant and then apply it. So let's just say you have a focus on your values because you know what your values are and you're practicing them every day. If your value is to lead from the heart, then you practice it every day. You live it. And that's what I talked about yesterday, which was embodiment. You must live the natural laws. It's not a thinking process. It's a living process. It's an experience. This life here is to be experienced. Now, how we experience life is going to be determined on your self-awareness. Because if you're not aware, if you don't have self-mastery, well, then you're going to be floundering, right? We don't want to flounder. Nobody wants to flounder. So here's my suggestion, okay? How much you are sure of what you're saying? If you're sure, how did you know it? I think that's a good question. Social media. I just happened to, or is it the South media? I don't have my glasses on. I intuit a lot of what I've learned. I'm self-taught in a lot of what I do. That doesn't mean I don't have knowledge from education. So I would say everything that I learned in my formal education, I had to unlearn with my spiritual work. I would say literally after I finished my master's degree, I started really fully on the spiritual journey. Now, I was already on the spiritual journey with self-awareness and self-development and meditation practices during my grad school because I felt called to learn how to teach myself how to meditate because I couldn't stop my thoughts. And I thought, well, that's not natural and that's not normal, so I better start meditating. So I taught myself how to meditate, and then I just became a lot more intuitive and guided by my intuition. Now, Energy healing is not conditional on how we are taught to learn, which is most of us are taught to learn in linear ways. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. In fact, when I try to teach here on YouTube, I always try to teach how I think most people are accustomed to learning. And I always get feedback back about how people like that I give 1, 2, 3s and ABCs. But that's not how things work spiritually, okay? So a lot of your self-awareness is about unlearning what you have learned. The beliefs that you have that are not in aligned with the natural laws. And you say, Kiana, I don't know what all the natural laws are. And I say this most fundamental law that you need to know is that everything is of God. Everything is of love. So if you have beliefs that are separate from God and love, however you interpret it, don't go by a Bible, go by your own personal interpretation. Oh, hold on. Oh my gosh. Hey, Elliot. So good to see you. Sorry about that, y'all. The gardeners then came. Okay, so now you don't know what the natural laws are. That's okay. You could go research them. But here's the thing. Don't get stuck in the research, y'all. Don't get stuck. Find something that resonates with you about what you're reading. Just find one thing. Oh, God is of love. Okay, I'm going to be of love. I'm going to practice seeing everything in love. I'm going to practice being in my heart every day. When I'm in an argument and there's a conflict, I'm going to go back to love and see how your life changes. You will laugh. You will laugh. Because the mind and our behaviors have been conditioned to the absurd. And that's not unique to you or to me. It's like humanity. We have been redirected away from the truth, which is all is love, all is God, God is love. That's the primary fundamental aspect of the natural laws. Now, you can go into all the laws, which is the law of polarity, the law of transcendence, the law of structure, the law of intent. There's so many laws, but you can really get mired in, I need to learn it all, I need to learn it all. Start with the practice. Practice self-awareness. If you don't have a good practice of self-awareness, today is the day to determine that that is going to change. You make a decision today. What did I learn today? What do I want to learn today? Where am I growing? Where are my blind spots? Where do I need to change? Where are my gaps? Do I have vulnerabilities? You want to start asking these crazy questions that lead you deeper within. Where am I disconnected? Where am I seeing things distorted? Why am I angry at this person? What do I need to heal? Like, all those questions will drive you crazy. And I lost everybody when I started saying all those questions. Okay, I will get to the questions when I finish what I'm going to say here. So, now that you know that you need to develop self-awareness, how do you do that? You do that through practice. What are you practicing? Whatever is most resonant, right? What's most resonant to me might not be resonant to you. There is no prescriptive way for you to develop your self-awareness. There are tons of books on self-awareness, but the most important aspect of developing self-awareness is that you have a practice that guides you inward. Inward for your own self-discovery and your own awareness. So I do a monthly practice, and every month I first of all, let me start. Every day I make notes. I make notes about what I want to learn about, what am I grateful for, what do I need to grow in. I ask questions, I write questions down. I could do a book just of like deep questions, which because I love questions. But if I hear a good question and it just needs to be slightly modified, I write it down. Okay, so I do that every day. I don't journal. I don't like to journal. But if you like to journal, use that as your method. Okay, so now, every month, at the end of the month, I sit down and I ask myself a series of questions. These are questions that I haven't asked every day, okay? The question is, what are my monthly wins? What did I win at? What did I exceed at? What did I do well with? So one of the things that I would say, well, I did all my videos this month. Because although I used to be super, very much goal-oriented, I've relaxed on the goal and I'm more intentional. So I would say, oh, I got, one of my wins is I did all my videos. That was at the beginning of the year. Now I've been doing my videos for now over 300 days. I would say that's not one of my biggest wins. My biggest wins are sometimes like South African Boys that's on here, that's new to this channel, that inspires me to go deeper, that inspires me to feel appreciation for all of humanity. I would say that was one of my wins from this month, is that something that I did touched that person and I could cry thinking about it. And I just feel grateful to be in community with people who are working on themselves, wanting to do better, wanting to be better, wanting to be the light. Yes, dedicated. Yes, committed. Not just committed to living life, but committed to being your best self, because we all have a purpose. Hey, Silent Gaming. Yes, South African Boys, dedicated. So that's one of the things that I do. So what are your monthly wins? And write down 3 or 4 of them. Okay, that's what I do. And sometimes I have more than 4, and I write those down too. What did I learn? What are the 4 biggest things that stood out for me? What did I learn from last month? What did I need to, what did I become aware of that I didn't know before and that stood out? So I go through my notes and I look at, okay, what are the most powerful learnings? Because I'm not going to focus on everything, but what are some of the biggest learnings? And then I go, because every month I'm looking, every day I want to go deeper, right? I want to go deeper into my awareness of myself and the reflection of which I am putting out into the world. The next question I ask are, what are the biggest moments? What was the biggest moment of the year, of the month? And usually that moment sticks out. It usually does stick out in your mind. What was my biggest triumph? That's the second one I ask. What was my smartest decision? And sometimes, usually, I'm going to look at this and I will tell you at the end of this month. But I think when I look at all of this last year, most of my smartest decisions were around stopping doing a particular thing that I had done. So it was about not doing something. Another question, what was my biggest risk from the last month? What brought me the biggest joy? And usually what brings me the biggest joy is usually much simpler than what I would have thought it would have been before I started this process. Now I notice like it really is the little things that I enjoy. Like almost routinely, my walks with my dog and my family are the high of my day. Almost always. It's not, or it could be like a client sending a message that was profound and that they are not just an appreciation and valuing the work that I do, but that they are seeing themselves more clearly. This is another big question from the month, right? So this is still the month in review. What needs healing? Just one thing that you have identified that needs healing. Because if you can't identify what needs healing, how is the healing going to come through? The lack of clarity that people have is usually one of the biggest issues, okay? Then, of course, it's a good practice to be grateful. What are you grateful for? And then write those 3 things that you're grateful for. My health is usually at the top. I'm very grateful for having the health of my family and the well-being. That's always primary. But also my dog being healthy. Right now she's got a little bit of an irritation, and I'm hoping I don't have to take her to the vet. I'm really trying to avoid that, but I don't want to prolong it if it needs it. What needs more attention? So it's a different question on what needs healing, but what really needs more attention? Where is the quality of your attention needed that it's not getting? Because oftentimes people are focused on their jobs, but their jobs are usually not what needs attention. It's usually something within themselves that is, it needs attention. Just saying. And then, of course, I give one word that describes my month. This month's word was stormy. It was a stormy month. There was lots of things moving, and it was storming. So that's what I do every month. And then, of course, I rate my month on a scale of 1 to 5 on how well did I do by focusing on my theme for the year, because I always have a theme for the year, and I want to stay on task. I want to be on theme. I want to make sure I'm not misdirected off of my focus, where my highest expression can be flourished by. So I focus and I gauge it. And since I've been doing this very specific journal, my husband does it as well. And then we usually talk about our biggest wins, and we celebrate each other. So if you have somebody else that would be interested in doing this kind of accountability and celebration of your progress, then it's fun. It can be really fun. It doesn't have to be a deep dive every month, but it does need to be a deeper dive. Most people aren't going deep enough. They just stay on the surface. Most people are just skimming the surface of self-awareness, and which is why there's so much anxiety and depression. So, and then at the end of the year, I do an entire series of questions that help guide the next year. So you can leverage where you are at into where you want to go. So the key here is practice, practice, practice. You want to bring theory into application. And I will say almost unanimously with all my executive clients they read a lot. They struggle with application. So become a master of applying theories that you think are worthy of application. If it's not worthy, don't spend any more time on it. Do not read a bunch of crap, okay? Okay, so somebody just asked me, what is your profession? I do what's called energy psychology. I consult to clients from all around the world about physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment. I help people repattern so that they're not contending with the same challenges repeatedly. Because once we adjust and become more aligned within, it changes our entire reality. So that's what I do. Thank you for asking. So I'm going to go and see what questions are in the chat. And did you find that helpful? Do you find that helpful to go into application? Is it possible? Paul is asking, is it possible to act completely free of unconscious influence? Or is every decision colored by past experiences and ingrained biases? Paul, I think that's a very astute question. And I think that would be determined by how spiritually connected you are, how much you trust God, how connected you are to God, and how much you have done your own healing. Because if we don't do our own healing, we are very easily manipulated by our unconscious aspects, our belief systems, our conditioned beliefs, our conditioned ways of being, those types of things. Those don't always have to be present, Paul, as they are for you today. That because as you do your own healing and clearing and releasing old ways, you aligned more into the natural laws. And the natural laws are that you are free. You are a sovereign being that, of course, you don't have to be mired by your past experiences. The past, your experiences are to inform your present so you can heal. And we're not supposed to be mired with pain and suffering totally. That is something that's occurred for many of us on earth because, there's some nefarious behaviors at play. Richard is saying practical application is needed, but you must take time to absorb the information. Richard, I would caution absorbing information that is not in alignment with the fundamentals of the natural. There we go. I needed to put my focus on. Sorry, my phone was ringing. When we absorb information that is not in alignment, it then will direct our behaviors. So I would caution people on absorbing anything that you're not consciously aware of what it is. Information has an energetic component to it. If it's not a high quality of information, which a lot of best-selling books are not high quality, in my opinion, they're that's just my opinion. You have your own opinions, I'm sure, but I would say a lot of marketing has gone into influencing people away from the natural laws. So again, go back to the fundamentals. What are the natural laws? Everything is based on the energy, physical, mental, emotional, spiritually, and everything is of love and everything is of God. That is the fundamentals of the natural laws. So, you want to build your house, your spiritual house, and not all information is going to, not all information is going to lead you in the right direction. That's why you need to use critical thinking, not absorbing. That's my opinion, Richard, but I see what you're saying, but I think people do absorb inaccurate information and it is not to the benefit of you. So I would not absorb anything that you do not know what it is. Social media, how much are you sure what you are saying if you are sure? Okay, I think I answered that. I live and breathe what I'm talking about. Shane is saying, hello, good afternoon, Miss. Oh, that's my favorite flower. If that's a daisy or a sunflower, it looks like a daisy. I love daisies. So thank you so much, Shane. Thank you. Richard says, I got too much information from other people saying that they are smarter than me. No, Richard, that's a good point, Richard. Nobody knows you like you. And I think anybody that's giving guidance should be leading you back to yourself. You shouldn't, you should always take what other people say and see if it resonates. That's what I think. That's what I do. And if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that that doesn't match for you. And that could not match for a lot of reasons. Things might not match because you don't resonate, which is true. It could not match because it's a different consciousness frequency that you aren't quite there yet. Or it could mean that it's a lower frequency that hooks you in. It could be a lot of reasons why you don't resonate, but you are the knower of yourself more than anybody else. So I agree with you, Richard, and you are very smart to know that. Do I believe in the absolute or relative truth? I believe truth is a frequency, South Media. I believe truth is a frequency that we resonate with. And so that's what I have to say about that. Elliot's here. Love it. Thanks, Richard, for being here. Hopefully it helps you. Do you believe? Oh, I already answered that question. I appreciate you more than you know. Oh, thank you, Shane. Thank you. You're right. I didn't know that. I did not know that, Shane, but it's good to be appreciated. Thank you. How much are you believing on yourself? You can be anyone you want, even if it's not. I don't know what that word is. Not a. I don't know what you're saying there, South Media. But how much are you believing in yourself? I believe fully in my connection to God. I believe in myself. Yeah, I believe I'm having a human experience here. I don't know what you're asking about my beliefs, but South African boys, yes. On Kush, I don't know what happened to your question here or your comment. It got picked up. Hi, Zoya. Good to see you here. Let the heart do the absorbing. Right, as long as it's in alignment, for sure, Greg. And kudos to you, Greg, for having an open heart. So many people have closed their hearts from pain or mental anguish or for whatever reason. So good for you, Greg, having an open heart. Let the heart lead the path. J Cat, people's frequency bring me down a lot. Stay home. So I stay home. Okay. J Cat, well, I would say if you are picking up on other people's frequencies, it may mean that you have vulnerabilities in your field. But I'm with you. I stay home a lot too. Not because other people bring me down, though. It's comfortable. And I work out of the house. So, there's that too. But I do go out. I venture out here and there, but people can have some very a lot of instability in their field for sure. If truth is a frequency with which anyone resonates, they can, yes, but there's only one truth in alignment with God. Simone says, if truth is a frequency with which anyone resonates, then truth can be different for every individual. Is that possible? Well, I think the truth frequency is the frequency, right? How one interprets the truth is going to be determined what they believe, right? And if you haven't done your own, let's just say, ego work, if you haven't unplugged from beliefs that bring you away from the natural laws, away from God, away from love, if you are still holding on to those beliefs, if you haven't done anything to clear programs in your field, in your body, in your knowingness, because there have been programs that have been done since if you're educated, you went to school, and if you have gone to school, they have programs there, and those programs have conditioning, and that's what the bias that somebody I think was talking about earlier, and if you haven't unplugged from those will distort your perceptions of the truth frequency. There are some people that think the truth is only something that you read, but they don't understand that the truth is always going to be based on a perception of a frequency. Now, a lot of people aren't even in touch with the frequency. So can anybody access or resonate with the truth? 100%. Does everybody resonate with the truth? No. The data for that is how people react when the truth occurs. They go into shock most often. They get mad. They feel betrayed. Think of anybody, Simone, who you know of who's had a partner that cheated and they found out that they got cheated on. And the truth, they said, hurt. The truth does not hurt. It's the lies that hurt. But they think it's the truth that hurts. So you see how there's a reversal in beliefs, there's a reversal in energy currents, and there's a reversal in the flow. So people have been resonating with reversal energies. Those are the opposite of what they think they are. So you think it's one thing, but it's actually another. It's called an inverted energy system. And that's what most people are connected to. Do I think people have become more neurotic since COVID? I don't know. I'd say that we're at a time in our history that we've never seen before. And I would say that the instability that people are experiencing is by and large a big part because they're not connected to their heart. They're not connected within. So their discernment is off, and therefore they believe other people know more than they do about themselves. So I do think that there has been a growing instability in the field, if you will. Okay, Simone is saying, was that Simon or Simone? I'm sorry. Somebody got really mad at me about not getting their name correct. So if I mess up your name, I am sorry. That is not my intention. And also, I also don't read every word, but I'm going to try to be more proficient in reading your questions the proper way. But truth can't be different for others because, for example, death is a truth and it's the same for everyone. Well, we all have different beliefs about death. And how you believe about death will determine how you experience death in this present life. So, for example, one of my dearest, closest friends died. I know that my beliefs about death are different than the vast majority of people. Am I reacting to her death in a way that I did to my mother dying? No. Because I have gotten more clear about what I think death is and what I believe that transpires over the years. You know what I'm saying? So I would disagree with you. The truth is the same. The frequency of truth is the same, but the interpretation is different based on what you're saying there exactly, that death is the same for everyone. It's not. The physical death is the same, but what people believe about death is different. And how people die influences how others experience the death process. It's fascinating. I think you're onto something here, and I love the inquiry that you're doing on this. But I don't think that death is the same for everybody, except that we're all going to die. But I don't think even the process of life after death is the same for everybody, because it is really determined by how we have practiced the natural laws. How in alignment are we to the higher realms? And that really dictates a lot of our experience in the afterworld. Somebody's asking me to please describe yourself. Who are you and what do you do? Oh, hello, welcome, you're new. My name is Kiana, and I do energy psychology. I help clients from all around the world align within, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's what I do every day, all day long. I help people to really bring in the practical applications of the natural law when they are ready, and for some people this resonates and for some people it doesn't. But whether you believe in the natural laws or not, self-awareness is pivotal to your connections within. Richard is back. Thanks for being back. How to stay positive when everything and everyone is against you? Well, one is to understand that, your perception of what you're seeing is not necessarily what it is. So understand that what you think is not always true. And one of the resources that I've given to folks here is Byron Katie, Byron Katie, is it Katie? I think. Byron Katie, the work of Byron Katie. She has a great practice to help you challenge your thinking, because oftentimes people believe they're thinking and your thinking is misdirected. All right, so we must challenge our thoughts, because our thoughts are not always what we think they are. So that's one thing. And then I would also say, so change what you think, and then also stop investing energy in what people or things around you are doing, and start connecting within and getting clear. What do I value? What am I working towards? What am I focusing on? Stop worrying about what other people are doing. You got to really get clear about what are you valuing, and are you in alignment with those values? Oh no, Richard is saying, thanks, Nick. He's saying he's been hit twice by cars as a pedestrian. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay. I got hit once by a car on my bike. And then I've gotten a lot of warnings. I stopped riding my bike after many years. But I'm so sorry, Richard, to hear that. People just aren't paying attention. And also there must, you're not going to want to hear this. Let me see. I would think that there's some kind of resonance that you might have for accidents. So I would address that. Nikhil, okay, gotcha. Richard, I'm so sorry. I hope you're healing. Richard is 52, and I've been a patient of psychology for only 39 years. Well, Richard, you should know that I am not an advocate of traditional methods. This is energy psychology. This is not associated with any, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not associated with any traditional dogmas. Everything that I do, yeah, the sun is coming in. Everything that I do is in alignment with the natural laws, and in alignment with creating a life in alignment with that. That's love, kindness, compassion. This is about creating inner congruence. That's really what I'm about. JR, I know it's sunny here. It's sunny. You can see it coming through. Native American. I don't know how to say that. I'm a Athea Baskin. I don't want to ruin it. Native American and others, and seeing others need to help each other, right? We're all in this together. Even if we don't know that or understand that, we are all in this together. Can I achieve anything based on the law of attraction? There's more than one law. That law is actually the law of correspondence. But, okay, Wendy, thanks. Have a great day. All the laws work together. So, no, you can't. I don't think you can achieve anything based on just one law. You need to look at the law of polarity. You want to look at the law of structure. You want to look at the law of consent, intent, and authority. You would want to look at the law of transcendence. There's 13 main principles out there. So you can go study them, but mostly you want to practice them. Richard's California, but I listened. I don't know what that means, Richard. No, I'm not Russian. Okay, y'all. Well, this video was intended to provide just really the data needed for you guys to get more practical with your application. Oh, German, Swedish, Native American. Okay. Wow, that's a nice, interesting combo there, Richard. Well, welcome to the channel here. I come on here every day for the Being in Sync 366 video series. This is a video series intended to talk about the natural laws in alignment, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment. Every video we're talking about how to practice. And today I wanted to just cut to the chase and talk about, Jack is saying nothing natural about it. Everything runs energetically, whether you are consciously aware of that or not. Everything is running off of these energetic principles, and people's ignorance of them does not mean that it does not work. Okay, so if you're interested in what I'm talking about, please come back. I'll be here tomorrow for another series, another video in the series. I'm not sure what the topic will be, but it should be interesting. So I hope you all have a great day. My name is Kiana Sage. If you want more information, you can find that at kiana.com. Take care. Bye-bye.